2% home loan deposits backed by the government for single parents. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to need it for this one. Because I was, relaxing, having a pretty lazy Saturday morning, to be quite honest, scrolling through my Facebook when this appeared. Helping single parents own their own homes. 2% deposits. Everyone, government backed. What is going on here? How desperate is the coalition to win this next election? This is just ludicrous. It's just ludicrous. What is this going to do? This is going to have housing inflation issues. It's going to make housing less affordable. It's going to have people who probably can't afford to even service a loan getting into houses. It means you could get into a $700,000 house with 14 grand. And what's it going to do for family unity? It's going to be another disincentive to stay together as a family. Another incentive to jump on that welfare bandwagon. So let's look at this one, everyone, because this is a frustrating topic. So first we'll start off with housing affordability. As I've said in many videos, in the last 30 years, houses have gone up from 300 to over 500%. Units pretty much around 400. Wages in the same period are only up about 300 with change. So wages are not keeping up with housing costs. That's given. But, the reason why we have these affordability issues, it's quite a complex one here in Australia. But it's because the government's coming to the rescue, everyone. I mean, have a look here before we get to that. This is an affordability Lorenz curve. And you can see anything above the line. If you're in Greater Brisbane, there's a proportion of properties that you have access to, and by affordable, I mean 30% of your disposable income. Most of this country, you don't. It's not possible, everyone. So governments come to the rescue. How they come to the rescue? They've kept zombie companies alive. They've had JobKeeper. Up to 9% of Victorians were nearly supported by JobKeeper, everyone. They didn't allow the market to respond to these interventions they made. They're juicing the housing market. The cash rate is 0. 3% used to be an emergency. You've got home builder juicing up housing costs. I was talking to an engineer yesterday. His neighbor was getting quotes for roofing. Should have been about 20 grand. 40, 50, 60,000. People are just giving out crazy quotes to make them go away. Apparently there's a lot of insurance work out there. First home buyer grants up to 88 grand. 5% government loan guarantees. 5%. 5% used to get me outraged. Now we're looking at 2%. We've got a conservative government. They don't care. They just want to get in. They're throwing money at the bloody housing. Oh, negative gearing. I mean, that's long term. It shouldn't even be on this list. It's just a systematic issue that we have here in Australia, where it's the way we minimize our taxation. And I don't blame people. I do not blame them at all. You know what I should really do? I should go get my negative gearing, buy some properties, negative gear to reduce my income, and then I could probably get it down to the point where I'd be getting all this family tax benefit money, so I could use welfare to pay for a house. That's Australia, guys. That's not right, and I'm not doing that. We've got super withdrawals. They juiced up the market. You've got reduced housing supply with councils limiting developments. You've got the loan holidays, everyone, and just uncertainty. So the government has intervened in the market in the long term and in the short term. This is just another thing, everyone. Let's have a look at this article because it's got me a little fired up. I mean, come on. This is crazy. Would you expect this from Labor? Would you really expect this type of thing coming out of the coalition? So single parents, the big winner in the federal budget. An often neglected group of Aussies, really, will get a huge boost in the federal budget on Tuesday, allowing them to do something many didn't think was possible. Single parents will be backed to buy their own home with a deposit as modest as 2% under a new housing program announced on Tuesday's budget. 2%! The program, to be known as the Family Home Guarantee, is designed to help single mothers and fathers overcome one of the biggest hurdles to achieving the dream of home ownership. The new Family Home Guarantee for single parents will support up to 10,000 single parents with dependents over 4 years, commencing the 1st of July 2021. But it will help not only first home buyers, but also single parents attempting to re-enter the housing market after divorce and family breakdown. So I'm just waiting for the MGTOW channels to latch on to this, because you know what it is. It's the majority of this will go to single mothers. Guaranteed. We'll have to look at the statistics in a few years, but that's where it'll go. This is a vote-winning strategy, everyone. They're doing this to win votes. To hell with the housing market. Like the existing first home loan deposit scheme, it will be subject to property price caps that restrict the benefits based on the state where the single parents live. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg told news.com.au the new policy was designed to address the challenges experienced by single parents trying to enter the housing market. The Morrison government understands the importance of owning your own home and the significant economic and social benefits home ownership provides, he adds. So what if you have a couple where they get a divorce, the woman gets access to the kids and gets the majority of the money from the house, because it's sold, split, and then also gets parental payment, which isn't counted in this, and then can get government support for a 2% loan from the Liberal Party. This isn't Labour. This is why the difference between the two is so small, everyone. It's funny how people think the Liberals are right-wing. It's ludicrous. It just shows you, if anyone thinks that, how left-wing they have to be. So, the Family Home Guarantee recognises that the challenge of saving a deposit is even harder when you're on a single income while raising kids. You know, it used to be, in Australia in the past, everyone could save for a deposit and a house on a single income. And you could actually keep a partner at home to raise the children. Housing Minister Michael Sukkar said the policy idea was the product of many months of discussions with banks and single parents over the challenges around getting into the market and securing a home for their family and retirement. I've long been of the view that the challenges for single parent families are not given the prominence they deserve, Mr. Sukkar told news.com.au. What? Really? Wow. As Housing Minister, I want to ensure that everyone who aspires for the security and stability of home ownership gets that opportunity. So in developing the Family Home Guarantee, I'm so pleased that more families will be able to realise the dream of home ownership, which importantly means more Australian children will be given the additional stability this provides. I showed you how much the government has intervened in the market, everyone. You've got a whole generation that's struggling to get into it. Housing affordability is nowhere near where it used to be. You've got the government taxing us left, right, and centre. We're the third biggest tax country in the OECD, everyone. So the government's going to give out more money to 10,000 people. And you should be happy with that. No discussion of reducing the government, reducing the intervention. Wow. In a separate measure, the government will also roll out another 10,000 places for couples and singles. And single parents to access the new home guarantee, allowing first home buyers to build a new home or purchase a newly built home with a deposit as little as 5%. Okay, so if you can flex, you got that 5% deposit, you can go for this guarantee. You don't need the 2% one. 2% and 5% deposits. Am I the only one that sees an issue with this? The maximum amount of voluntary contributions that can be released under the First Home Super Saver scheme has been increased from 30,000 to 50,000. Single-parent households traditionally have lower home ownership rates than other household types. As a result, almost half of all single-parent families rent from a private landlord and not own property. Yeah, what about all the investors that are doing that? You know who this is going to attack? All those property geniuses that buy in these lower socioeconomic areas because of the government-supported people that move into them. I know, I've spoken to people who've bought the management rights for large complexes, and they loved the single mothers. They loved them because they always paid their rent on time. They kept the place clean. You know, that's why they liked them. By comparison, only 1 in 4 of dual-parent families are living in rental properties because it's easier to save for a deposit and secure finance with 2 incomes. Yes, that is how life is meant to be, everyone. We've gotten to a situation now where you need 2 incomes to get into a house. But you're kind of, you're meant to build a family together and grow together. intentionally or not, this is going to be an attack on the family, everyone. Around 125,000 single parents with children are expected to be eligible for the new scheme, and if demand is strong, the Morrison government has the option of considering an extension to the scheme if the 10,000 places are snapped up. The vast majority of those eligible for the scheme, around 150,000 families, are headed by single working mothers. There you go. This is going to women, everyone. It's going to women. So, to be eligible to participate in the Family Home Guarantee, you will need to demonstrate you earn $125,000 or less, but child support payments will be excluded from determining income. Single mothers and fathers will also have to demonstrate they do not currently own property, but they will still be eligible to apply if they've owned property in the past, for example, when they were married. Under the scheme, a minimum 2% deposit will be required, although a 5% deposit will be required for the new home guarantee, with the government covering up to 18% of the property purchase price. Wow. The sole parent will also need to be the only person listed on the title and the loan. Dependent children will need to be under 16, where the adult is legally responsible for child's day-to-day care, welfare and development, and children 16 to 21 that are wholly or substantially dependent on the other person as long as the child does not earn more than $6,500 income in the financial year. Higher price caps apply to the new home guarantee, and the price caps will differ depending on the state where you live. New South Wales, the price cap is $700,000 for any home in a capital or regional centre, $450,000 for the rest of the state. In Victoria, it's $600,000. In Melbourne, regional centres, $375,000. Queensland, $475,000. In Brisbane, $400,000 in smaller towns in the state. The price cap is $400,000 in Perth, Adelaide, Hobart, and $500,000 in the ACT. The new measures to help single parents are described as non-ongoing measures used to stimulate construction, support jobs, and secure Australia's recovery. This is what I've been saying, guys. Housing is the piñata that they just hit to stimulate the economy. That's what it is. For couples and singles eligible for the new home scheme, that does not apply to existing housing stock, a combined taxable income of less than $200,000 in the preceding financial year will need to be established. There are also owner-occupier requirements that applicants move into the property from 6 months from the date of settlement and live in the property so long as your home loan has a new home guarantee. Price caps for the new home guarantee scheme are higher, rising to $950 in Sydney and $850 in Melbourne, $650 in Brisbane, $550 in Perth, Adelaide and Hobart. The majority of applicants for the new home guarantee are younger couples entering the market in what and we're concentrated at 24 to 34-year-old age bracket. So, I mean, guys, there you go. 2% home loans. And let's talk about an issue here that I don't think is raised much. And this is, well, in some regards, this is going to be an attack on the family. It's additional welfare, and I'd say it unintentionally destroys the incentives to stay in a relationship. It creates an incentive to leave that relationship. You can get additional financial support. You can get into a house. And the question I have, as we saw here, the majority of the people in this situation are single mothers. Is this going to exacerbate the issue with regards to fatherlessness? And the social issues of fatherlessness, abandoned fathers, alienated parents, are well documented. I did a video on it years ago. No one watches it. No one's interested in fatherlessness or these issues, but you can see the issues manifest. Is this what you expect from a conservative political party? Now, I did a poll, everyone, literally like 5 minutes ago, and I will bring this up. So that was the one vote that I got. Thank you very much to the one person that voted. Because should the government help single parents buy housing with only 2% deposit? Let's see what you said. I'm just bringing this up here. Here we go. 18% said yes. 82% said no. Out of 181 votes. Let's look at some of the comments here. Dennis, it would not help. In the city I live in New Zealand, the average house is $350. Even if you could afford a $7,000 deposit, you can never afford a monthly mortgage repayments. They don't care about that, mate. They don't care about that. Wait, what if interest rates go up? If you get into a $700,000 house with a $14,000 loan, what if rates go up? If they can't afford a deposit, how can they afford a repayments? Well, the thing is, getting that deposit is hard because you're saving it with rent. At the moment, rent's probably cheap. Mortgage is probably cheaper than rent. Rambonian says, taxes have not covered the spending of big government in the country for decades. Okay, he's going off on some people get a bit of the government debt spending instead of handing it to billions. So he doesn't mind. Do it. At least people get the money. Ben W. How is a single parent going to afford a house at all, considering it is out of reach already for many of the younger generation? Stop propping up people that have chosen a life like that. Just introduces more resentment in the world. CJ. Exactly. All these whinging parents going on and getting handout over handout subsidized by single people. Families get everything and singles get nothing and have to subsidize those families. That's not fair at all. And they have to struggle for everything and can barely get anywhere. Number of single people is growing. It's a trend. Time politicians start giving to single people. They're not going to give to you, mate. They're not going to give to single people. I think it'll be interesting to see how the MGTOW movement goes, how monk mode goes. Government doesn't help, government destroys. And at the end of the day, the idiots need the cake. Fascism they voted for. Sick to death of paying for other people's choices. Childcare, lap band surgery, home builder. Cadence, what's wrong with renting? 2% deposit is going to enslave the parent for life. But then they'll get that house that they can pass on to the next generation with a whole lot of debt. So, a ploy to push apartment prices higher. There we go. Could that be what it is? Could you imagine the conditions of houses if that happened? Nice when they move in, destruction when they move out or try and sell. I don't know, mate. I think you're a bit biased there in your opinions. Single parents, I think they'll maintain houses fine, to be honest. But the issue here is, should the government be doing it? Now let's have a look as well at some of the comments that people left on the Facebook post that I saw about this, because I thought that'll give us an interesting insight here. So Katie is saying, this is so considerate. Is it really? This is the problem, everyone. I'm here angry about this because it's going to overheat the market. I'm sure majority of my viewers, 80%, don't want this to happen. But let's have a look at what the normies. And I'd say Facebook users are normies. Is that fair? Or at least it's probably the demo. It's tough to crack the housing market for anyone, let alone when you have a single income independence. Yes, because the government is juicing it up. That's why it's so tough to crack the housing market. The people who cause the problems you're hoping will bring the solution. Do people don't get it? I don't think they get it. I applaud any single parent who wants to venture down this path. It's very tough commitment in one income and a half, government benefits, to establish stability for your little one with increasing your weekly outlays plus rates, insurance, okay. What about the 65-year-olds with chronic health that are stuck on job seeker payments? Most are homeless, most struggle every day to pay rent. How can you be homeless and then pay rent? This is the thing. You don't trust the government, everyone. Okay, when you get to that age, they're not going to take care. They don't care about you. They're not your friends. They will just tax you, take resources off you, then redeploy them to win votes. That's what they're doing. Oh, great, another initiative that benefits families and people with kids. Not everyone is a family. Single people in their 30s with no kids would also like some help buying a home. It's impossible on a single income. It didn't used to be impossible on a single income. You know? You do not help loyal liberals in need. I'm living proof that the liberals desert their most loyal followers. Vote Scott Morrison out. Not everyone wants to own their own. Long-term rentals, not having the stress of moving with associated costs, hanging over your head every year, and the end of lease would be a start. Security, the bank still owns the place. How does a single parent afford a home loan? If they were to buy a cheapish house for $800,000 and a deposit of $16,000, stamp duty is $35,000. If first home is not doubled. What about low-income earners? This is fantastic. I always thought you were doing a great job and the Australian economy is recovering well because of your good decisions. Good job, well done. So, there you go, for the lucky ones who can afford a deposit. Yeah, a 2% deposit. So, what's the solution to this, everyone? I think we need to become politically active, contact your political leaders, your local members, and indicate that you're unhappy with the housing stimulus and what amounts to an attack on family unity. What do you reckon? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. It's gotten me riled up, but great way to start Saturday. As always, thanks for watching. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can sign up for YouTube or Patreon. You can join SelfWealth or Stake, where we get 5 free share trades or a share once you fund your account. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Buy a merch from HeiseSays or support us via Gold Pass and PayPal. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.